2018, and as a member of the governing body of CSIR, he was the 12th Vice-Chancellor of Punjab University, Chandigarh. He continues to be the chairperson of Research Council of CSIR NPL, New Delhi, as well as the chairperson of Research Advisory Committee of IISER Mohali. He served as member BOG Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh since 2012. He is a Senate member of IIT Ropar and Punjab University. He is also a member of the Senate and Syndicate of Punjabi University, Patiala. Director CSIR CSIO designated him as a mentor of CSIO. The list of his accomplishments runs very long, but a very noteworthy initiative commenced by him as Vice-Chancellor, Punjab University in 2012, which caught the national attention, has been the nucleation of the Chandigarh Region Innovation and Knowledge Cluster, which brought together all the institutions and research laboratories in and around Chandigarh on a common platform. We hope to actually learn from his experience at that time, because we are in the process of trying to initiate such clusters. We recently started the Odisha Physics Cluster. Today he is going to speak on the topic Atomic Guru, HOMI BHABHA's life and times, his vision and national development. Years ago, during my masters, when I was doing my masters, I heard from Professor G. Venkatraman, a very famous DRDO scientist, a Padma Shri awardee, and our then Vice Chancellor. He spoke about the life of HOMI BHABHA and his vision, and he was a very, I learned that he was a very special scientist, an engineer, and of course a very great human being. And in fact, that talk was so inspiring that it inspired me to take physics. So I'm sure that Professor Grover will inspire us further with the stories of HOMI BHABHA and his role in rapidly growing modern Indian science. So before I request Professor Grover, may I request Professor Ashok Ganguly to say a few words, our director.
Thank you, Vyas. So all of you have heard about his background as an academician, as an administrator, and as a person who nucleates a cluster. So Professor Grover has a unique ability to bring people together from very diverse areas and diverse thoughts. He is a real institution in himself, and he really spends a lot of time in seeing how different institutions can grow, can collaborate, and has been a great force in the Chandigarh, Mohali area. Of course, he is very well known in Mumbai because he spent a lot of time in PIFR. But he has a real ability to bring people who have diverse backgrounds together on a platform, and he has created many things in Punjab for the benefit of academicians and students, and is a really positive influence wherever he goes. The unique person, very, very sincere in his work and very, very honest and helpful to people. He's a unique person with whom I have seen work for everybody. I have known every institution I have seen, whether IIT Ropar, IISER Mohali, our Nano Institute, CSIO, Himachal University, GNDU, of course TIFR and University of Pune. He has been associated with many things. This is a huge thing, and he goes to any access, Chief Minister, secretaries of Punjab. Today only he was talking about somebody I had met at Rashtrapati Bhavan. And he said, he's a very good guy, you should go and talk to him more. So he knows everybody who really are good in for academics, to push academics. And he really goes at length to nurture academics and has done a lot for Punjab University. So I had a great time when I was in Mohali with suppose, I don't know, people say it's a golden time. We had Professor Satyamurthy as IISER Mohali Director, Professor Grover twice Vice-Chancellor of Punjab University, and many of us joined that time. We had a very, very wonderful time building. We had nothing actually. I started from a field, but you won't believe the kind of things I did there, which are still people mention, like doing the India's first road show, which I learned in London. Royal Society does road shows, and I picked that India's first road show. We did in Chandigarh market, you remember, and the Canadian chemistry president was there. Professor Siana Rao was there. Professor Grover was there. Professor Timothy. It was one of its kind. We had fire engine, police station, everything, because we are going to do experiments in the middle of the market. And we did it. I did it twice or thrice, I forget. And the idea I got was from Royal Society. So that's how you do outreach. When you use taxpayers' money, they need to know what science does. And you have to explain to them. And where best you can explain, not in your lab by making some compound or we are writing some paper showing a transition. You have to, a local guy, a cloth merchant needs to know what science does. So that is the idea, and that is why, people in Western society, they are able to do these kind of things, because they take science to the people. And Royal Society, of course, is the best among all societies I have seen. That's the oldest society, which really knows how to talk to person on the ground, so that he knows my tax is being used properly. Government of India wants to know nowadays. These questions are being asked. What good is your science? What are you doing? Just publishing paper, is it important? Yes, then of course it should fetch us a Nobel Prize. So that's the question they ask. But of course, as we know, not every science can fetch a Nobel Prize, and not there are many even for a Nobel Prize. For one Nobel Prize, there will be 50 people who may be equivalent to that Nobel Prize. That is there. But coming back to Professor Grover, he gave such a kind of mentorship, not to one institute, but for a region. And that's why he's recognized all over India. And used to take his advice on many, many such things. And he used to go to UGC. He has been talking to many things. I don't know what all he has done, but I know with governors, he will take it to the, I think once I also went with you. So whatever are the problems of the university, he will take it right to the people where people matter. He's not afraid. And people actually, admire him for that courage and things which he can say clearly for the benefit of education, for the benefit of academics. He really raised the standards of Punjab University, and which could have become a central university for, but reasons which are different, not academic. Punjab University is still a state university and not a central university. With these words, I am very thankful. He has diabetic problems. He has traveled long distance, and I am really thankful that you could make it to this place. And let's hope that all of you will benefit from his knowledge of BHABHA. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I think I should.
Is there a pointer as well? So good afternoon. So at the very outset, I would like to thank Professor Ashok Ganguly for his thoughtful invitation to ask me to give a talk on HOMI BHABHA as a part of what he calls as Amrit Kal Vimarsh. And you are all aware, Amrit Kal is the last quarter of the century of independent India. Okay, and all of us desire, nation desires, politicians desire that India should be amongst the developed nations by the time we reach 2047. So, talk on Homi Bhabha and his connection with India as a developed nation. Okay, this is the theme of today's presentation. And let me admit that I have actually never given a talk on Homi Bhabha. This is my first maiden attempt to give a talk on Homi Bhabha. I did work at Bhabha's Tata Institute of Fundamental Research for over 40 years, where I had the good fortune to listen to so many talks by people who were students or colleagues of Homi Bhabha, J.R.D. Tata, or the trustees of Tata Trust, or people Bhabha nurtured in a variety of other ways. All varieties of people I have listened to. And just 4 days ago, I had an occasion to listen to a short speech by Dr. Anil Kakodkar when he was responding to the felicitations for him on his 80th birthday. And somewhere in the middle, he states that for Bhabha, the most important thing was to remember the key principle that self-reliance is very necessary when you want to master the advanced technology. So this should be the objective of all scientists and engineers as they pursue their careers and life in India. So the story that I am going to describe to you is about Bhabha, as how he himself got motivated to stay in India, do himself work in the direction of self-reliance, and motivate everyone else to have the same spirit. So I never met Bhabha. When I joined TIFR, it was the year 1972. Bhabha had been gone in January of 1966. And luckily for me, TIFR had just completed 25 years in 1970. And when we were students in the first year, a fat book came which described the progression of various activities under TIFR in that silver jubilee book. Various departments, various people, everything was there in that fat book. Then once we started to read that, when you are motivated to learn more, then I found that the TIFR library had two big volumes. One volume was reprints of Bhabha's scientific papers. Not very large in number, not hundreds that people have. Bhabha had published 65 scientific papers. All right, but there was a fat volume. Then there was another volume which had transcripts of speeches and addresses of Homi Bhabha. So that was another formidable volume. So I learnt about the progression of TIFR from the Silver Jubilee book and reading through the transcripts of speeches of Bhabha occasionally whenever I had time. So time went by and slowly, sometime in the year 1984, on the occasion of 75th birthday of Bhabha, all the collected works of Bhabha, scientific works, were put together in a volume published by TIFR. So that had all the papers now at one place, and it also had writings about BHABHA by Lord Penny, also by three of his first students, namely Shrikantan, Virendra Singh and B.M. Udgaonkar. So there are three different perspectives. There was also an article by Professor M.G.K. Menon who had succeeded BHABHA, and so on and so forth. Okay. So this is that book which was first published in the year 1984. This book I got it reprinted in the birth centenary year of BHABHA. So it says 75 years here because this is the 75 years of Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore. So the academies were created in 1934, both Bangalore Academy and also this National Institute of Sciences, which later became INSA. So the 75 years of Academy and BHABHA centenary year. Okay, coincidentally, it happened in the same time, 2009. So during that centenary year, I got this book reprinted. And I also got another book done from the academy, and that was to get the speeches of BHABHA and the popular writings of BHABHA also being put together. And these two volumes, I got it sent to all the physics departments in the country. So from Bangalore Academy obliged me, and they directly posted from the academy office these two volumes, plus a documentary was also made on BHABHA, In Love with India at that time. So this documentary, these books and little more material was sent to all the physics departments in the country during the BHABHA's birth centenary. So now our friend just talked to you about G. Venkatraman. So this is G. Venkatraman's book on BHABHA, which is called BHABHA and His Magnificent Obsessions. So G. Venkatraman is known to have written this marvelous biography of C.V. Raman during the centenary year of C.V. Raman. So G. Venkatraman was never a direct student of BHABHA. G. Venkatraman had been inducted by BHABHA in the year 1955 to work for TIFR and DAE program or everything, but he was asked to work for DAE and not work for the programs for TIFR in the beginning. So Venkatraman, he talked of DRDO, but Venkatraman actually started his career as a neutron scattering man. He was sent by BHABHA to learn neutron scattering from Brockhaus in Canada. Anyway, Venkatraman later on had interest in light scattering, neutron scattering. So Ramasheshan picked up G. Venkatraman to write the biography of Raman as the centenary of Raman came in. And this voluminous book is full of lots of anecdotal things, also full of very interesting science that C.V. Raman pursued from 1907 till C.V. Raman passed away in 1970. It's a very interesting book. I don't know. At one time it was published as a Penguin book. This is an Indian Academy of Sciences edition. I don't know whether they have copies in stock, but I think you can download this PDF file of it. Now Venkatraman, when he was nearing his retirement, in memory of his son who didn't live very long, he had passed away at a young age. So in the memory of his son, he wrote this book for the young people of India. That is why it says BHABHA and His Magnificent Obsessions. And you see the photograph of Cyrus reactor in this. This is the Cyrus reactor dome. And there is also this discovery of ions that happened from TIFR by the nuclear emulsion group, which BHABHA had got it going while he was in Bangalore and so on. So we'll learn about it as we move on. Okay, so now Ashok will remember there is a book that we brought out during the BHABHA's birth centenary year. This is called Tributes to a Titan, and this has tributes by all the colleagues of BHABHA. This who's who of Indian science and physics or engineering. This book also has more contributions, tributes by 10 more people from TIFR and BRC. And I put it in this book, Important Speeches of HOMI BHABHA. The book was edited by Deepan Ghosh and myself, and Deepan was 5 years senior to me in the TIFR graduate school. I joined in 72, Deepan had joined as early as 1966. So, anyway, so these are these very interesting 5 speeches of Baba. Okay. First one is a letter which Baba wrote to Gaurav Tata Trust, giving a proposal for Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. Next is a lecture he gave at the inauguration of TIFR. Third one is a lecture he delivered the day foundation stone of TIFR was laid. TIFR started to function in Bangalore on 1st of June 1945, but the new building foundation stone is laid 9 years later. Baba had a different way of progressing institute. He wanted the work to happen first, reach some stage before he will worry about the buildings. Anyway, so there is, in buildings took a long time, something which starts on 1st of January 1954, the buildings are inaugurated on 15th of January 1962. Okay, and then there is this last lecture, which is the actually lecture he delivered during a conference hosted by the International Council of Scientific Union, and this is 15 days before he passed away during the plane crash. So this book actually, this lecture gives in Baba's words, a concise summary of whatever he did after he got stuck in Bangalore in the year 1939 up to 1966. So this book is also with me. I have PDF file of this book somewhere. I can send it to you later. I don't have it available with me, but you can browse through this book at some stage. So now this is another book which came out in the Baba centenary year. Ashok will remember this was released in December of 2010 when fellows of all the science academies of India were invited to Baba centenary symposium, and this book is based on correspondence between Baba and others. Very revealing, very interesting to read. Then there is this book which is called HOMI BHABHA A Life, which came up just 6 months ago. Okay, this is by Bakhtiyar Dadabhai, who is a civil servant. He actually retired as a railway board member last month. Okay, and this is the equivalent of G. Venkataraman's book. Okay, so if you look at this book, it's this fat book. I am carrying this. This is the Bible on Baba. Everything that you want to know about Baba is there in this book. And this has 100 pages of references. Okay, from where so it's full of anecdotal information about Parsis, about Baba, his contemporaries, his competitors. So this is no holds barred book. He is not shy of recording even the differences which people had with Baba or they had with each other and so on. It's a very interesting book since he is not a scientist, but he is a Parsi. He had access to all Tata archives. This is his 7th or 8th book. So he has written many books. He has a very interesting style, and everything is there in this. So I got roped in to write a review of this book, and Ashok told me that he had read that review, and probably that nucleated the thought of asking me to come and talk to you on Baba. So okay, so this is another book on Baba, which again came during the pandemic. This was commissioned by Vigyan Prasad. Okay, and this book is written by 2 engineers, a mechanical engineer and a metallurgical engineer, who had been inducted into atomic energy program by Baba. One of them retired as a controller of administration of Baba Atomic Research Center, so he had access to all the DAE archives. And Baldev Raj, anyway, he also passed away during the pandemic, but he was the director of IG car. He was part of that IG car where all this research happens on the fast breeder reactor, which is the second stage of Bhabha's three-stage program, etc. So this is very informative. And this book I recommend you to everyone because it is a concise book, some 100 and odd pages. And it's a nice, concise summary, and you can see the kind of, if you just browse through these headings of these things, this tells you that this is how his life went and how his contributions happened. Okay. And his contributions as a scientist, technologist, administrator, and also Homi Bhabha as an artist, because Homi Bhabha was a very accomplished artist in addition to being a scientist and an engineer. Okay, so this is the book which is titled Homi Bhabha as an artist. So after Bhabha passed away, Mulk Raj Anand, who had started the Marg magazine, so he took the initiative of collating all the paintings, drawings and sketches by Bhabha. It also has articles by few other artists, an interview with Arun, an interview with MS, etc. So this had been published in 1968, so as a part of Bhabha's centenary year, I got this book reprinted and freely distributed. Not many copies are available now. I have few copies. Maybe one can buy. Maybe few copies are there in TIFR archive. And very inexpensive, but it's a beautiful collection of Bhabha's paintings, sketches, etc. And this is a self-portrait by Bhabha. Reproduction is not good here, but the reproduction is good in the book. Okay, this is when he was age 17. This is a self-portrait by him. So, okay. So, what did Venkatraman say? After Venkatraman wrote this book, he gave a talk in DRC Central Complex Auditorium on the Founders' Day on 30th October, close to 30th October, and he said that there was nothing in Homi Bhabha's early life to suggest that he would later emerge as a great Vaishnava. Okay. This is what Venkatraman's impression. But in the same talk he says, he quotes J.R.D. Tata, and he says, Mr. Tata says that some men in human history are born with the stamp of predestination on them, and which leads them to accomplishments beyond ordinary capability. So Bhabha was one of those people. And Bhabha, scientist, engineer, master builder, administrator, steeped in humanities, in art, music, hobby was truly a complete man. Okay, so next 40-45 minutes I will just illustrate why J.R.D. said this. And J.R.D. also has recorded this in the Silver Jubilee book, which I mentioned to you. This was the first book that I tried to read. And he says, J.R.D. was convinced that only an Homi Bhabha in 1943, on his return from Cambridge, with his immensely talented mind, steeped in modern science, and his prophetic vision of the potential of nuclear energy, seemed to be a truly predestined star. This is what Tata recorded in 1970. So, okay, so now the visionary and the vision. So, TIFR has an auditorium which is named after Bhabha, Homi Bhabha Auditorium. Bhabha Auditorium was inaugurated in 1968 after Bhabha's death. Okay, and in that there was an exhibition. When I went there as a student, a magnificent exhibition was there which told in pictures the story of Bhabha and India's atomic energy program. This exhibition was redone in the centenary year by Professor Sprinter Wadia. Sprinter got it redone, and that exhibition, you can download it. This vision and the visionary, you can download it. It's just 36 sheets. I have a hard copy, but this is available in PDF file. And pictorially, you can see what all Bhabha did beautifully in this book. So this is successors of Bhabha at TIFR and at Atomic Energy. I got all of them together on the birth centenary year of Mr. J.R.D. Tata, and TIFR Alumni Association commemorates J.R.D. Tata's birthday as an alumni day. Atomic Energy commemorates Bhabha's birthday, 30th October, as a Founders Day, but at TIFR, both these birthdays are commemorated. And this is M.G.K. Menon, who succeeded Bhabha, and this is Professor Yashpal, and how to go about commemorating the birth centenary of HOMI Bhabha. So, I had got lots of people together, okay, on the to commemorate, to felicitate M.G.K. Menon on his 80th birthday. So lots of Menon admirers came, and I used that occasion to do some brainstorming and how should we commemorate Bhabha's birth centenary. So many things were planned, and for 3 years, next 3 years, I was busy trying to complete the task. So fine. So now, brief recap. I said Bhabha in nutshell. Okay, Bhabha was born as Hormozji Bhabha, and Hormozji was his grandfather's name as well, who was the Inspector General of Education of Mysore State. Bhabha's father, Jahangir Bhabha, was a barrister, used to work for Tata companies, and Bhabha's mother was the granddaughter of a philanthropist, Dinshaw Patel. And Bhabha's uncle was Dorothy Tata, because Bhabha's father's sister was married to Dorothy Tata, son of Jamshed Tata. So this is the pedigree of this thing. And Bhabha went to a school, Cathedral and John Kennan. The school was just diagonally opposite where the Dorothy Tata lived himself. So he completed his senior Cambridge, equivalent of class 12 today, okay, at the age of 17, but he wanted to go, and his family wanted him to study engineering at Cambridge, but he had to be of 18 years of age before he gets admitted for tripos at Cambridge. So 1 year he spent in doing BSc 1 at Royal Institute of Science, Bombay, which is at Kalakala. So during that 1 year, he had an occasion to listen to A.H. Compton's talk on cosmic rays. Compton had visited India in the year 1926 to do cosmic ray research and radioactivity research at the invitation of University of Punjab at Lahore. Compton's sister was married to the principal of Foreman Christian College, Lahore. That is how the university had invited him. He came, he went to Gulmarg, he met lots of Indian scientists. And during his travel across India, he came to Bombay, gave this talk, and how I got inspired to do that. He must do physics, not do mechanical engineering that his family wanted, and run the Tata Steel. He didn't want to do that. Anyway, so next year he joined this Keyes College at Cambridge. Why Keyes College? Because Dorothy Tata had also studied in that college, and he had given a huge endowment to that college. He could have gone to any college, but he goes to his college of his Dorothy Tata, and he had to do mechanical engineering because that is what the family wanted. And his father, he had sort of struck a deal with his father: if he gets a first class in mechanical engineering, he'll let him study physics and mathematics. So actually this is what happened. And if there was a bad luck, Bhabha had not done well in the first year of tripos. Actually he got a third class in the first exam. But then his father reminded him that he will allow him to do physics or mathematics only if he gets a first class. So he got down to doing things well. So he got engineering tripos at 30, mathematics in 32, and PhD in 35. His supervisor was theoretical astrophysics Fowler. Okay, and because he did well in engineering, he got a Solomon's studentship in engineering for 31, 32. Okay, that is all started to do physics PhD. He started to work for PhD. So when he writes his first paper, okay, So he gets another scholarship. This is the traveling fellowship in mathematics next year. And this allows him to not travel in Europe. And this is during those travels, he meets Wolfgang Pauli in Zurich, he meets Fermi in Rome, he meets also Niels Bohr at Copenhagen. So all this happens in that. Lo behold, he finishes his thesis, okay, and the thesis gets him another 3-year fellowship, which is a kind of a postdoctoral fellowship for him. So, from 1930 onwards, he is now on his own. Okay. He has these fellowships and he is pursuing whatever he wants to do. So it was during his postdoctoral fellowship, he had come to Bangalore and he got stuck in Bangalore. So his, I told you that this first 3-year fellowship was Isaac Newton's studentship in 34, and this was the first paper that he wrote in 33, which was written in German when he was visiting Pauli in Zurich. Then later on, he got another fellowship for 2 years. When he comes to Bangalore and he gets stuck in Bangalore. So he had arrived in summer, and this war announcement happened in September of 39. He couldn't go back. He accepted a reader's position in Raman Physics Department, okay, and settled down to do the work that he was doing in Cambridge. So 2 years down the line, he was elected Fellow of the Royal Society in 41. He competed in this J.C. Adams Prize, and he got this J.C. Adams Prize in the year 42. And J.C. Adams Prize is the one which James Maxwell had got, J.J. Thomson had got, and his own supervisor Fowler had got. And in later years, Penrose and Hawking also got the J.C. Adams Prize. So that just tells you the quality of scientist he was. But 42 is also the year his father unfortunately passed away. And it is at that stage when his father passed away, he gave up the thought of going back to Europe or America. Until then, he was nursing that once the war gets over, he will return to the West. But now he is at home. He will stay in India. And at that time, he was writing a book on cosmic ray radiation. And he also, end of December 42, he sets up this vigorous program on experimental research in cosmic rays. He had obtained a grant for doing cosmic ray research experimental a year earlier in 1941 to investigate the formation of muons and heavier particles in the upper atmosphere, a la Millikan. Millikan is the same E/M ratio Millikan. Millikan had got Nobel Prize in the year 1924. Raman had visited Millikan in 1924 in Caltech. So Millikan came to India in 1939 and 1940 twice to do cosmic ray research. Like Compton had come to do research in India, cosmic rays. He came to fly balloons. Somewhere, this is what he was doing, that work got left behind. Bhabha decided that he will push that work forward, because Bhabha's all theoretical work was related to these experiments. So the theorist Bhabha turned into an experimentalist, some theorist both in one together in the year 1942. At that time, all his theoretical competitors in Europe and America, they were all engaged in making the bomb, working for the military research. But here Bhabha was in a unique position to test his theory by doing experiments on his own at Bangalore from 1942 on. So, while he was engaged in this theory come experiment, Krishnan, whom he had met in Cambridge in 1937, Krishnan sent Harishchandra from Allahabad to work with Bhabha. And all of you are aware of the great contributions of Harishchandra in mathematics. It is unfortunate that Harishchandra did not receive the Fields Medal. This 2023 is the centenary year of Harish Chandra, and a couple of weeks ago there was a story going on in workshop how Harish Chandra was denied Fields Medal on the false premise that he was pushing the group of French science, French mathematicians. Harish Chandra was not a part of the Bourbaki group, but anyway, whatever is missed is missed. Fields Medal is given to mathematicians below the age of 40. Once he got denied at one stage, there was no second chance that he would get a Fields Medal. But the work that he started with BHABHA in Bangalore on the group theory, BHABHA had sent him to work with Paul Dirac when he moved from Bangalore to Bombay. Harish Chandra became a great mathematician in the field of group theory, seeds of which was sown in Bangalore via his interaction with BHABHA. But anyway, that whatever is gone is gone. So this is the Kenilworth bungalow in which BHABHA was born. It was on Pedder Road. At this place today is a multi-storied building in which the TIFR and the IISER scientists stay. So there I got a plaque put outside those multi-storied buildings that BHABHA was born there. This bungalow belonged to sister of BHABHA's mother. So the TIFR also started from here. 1/3 of this building was rented out to start TIFR on 19th of December 1945. And this is the bungalow on Malabar Hill, just this, not far off from the Hanging Garden, 200 meters from the Hanging Garden, in which BHABHA lived all his life from 1945 onwards with his mother. So this is BHABHA as a kid, BHABHA as a teenager, and this is HOMI BHABHA and his brother Jamshed BHABHA, father and mother. So this again is from this exhibition book. And he transformed to Hormozli to HOMI only in Cambridge. Okay. When he went to Cambridge, it was Hormozli. So this is BHABHA and his younger brother, and this is BHABHA and BHABHA's elder brother, person whom he admired, Paul Dirac. All his theoretical work is pushing whatever he learned from the Dirac's theory for relativistic gravity, particles, dense particles. All his BHABHA's theoretical work is pushing and extending whatever he learned from Paul Dirac. And Dirac was 5 years. Dirac is born 97 years elder to him, 1902, 19. So this is BHABHA on the travelling fellowship, Copenhagen in 1933. Okay, and this is Bohr, Dirac, Heisenberg, Unquist. This is this lady Lisa Meitner who discovered actually the coefficient. She didn't get credit for it as much as she ought to get. And this is HOMI BHABHA. Okay, and this is Heitler, BHABHA-Heitler theory of electron-positron shower. Both of them were there in this conference. Heitler was senior to BHABHA by several years. Heitler was a student of Sommerfeld, okay, at Berlin. So this is Heitler and Hans Bethe were students together of Sommerfeld. And there was, before BHABHA teamed up with Heitler to give BHABHA-Heitler theory, there was a Bethe-Heitler theory which was found to be experimentally not okay, and it is that theory only which is improved by BHABHA in partnership with Heitler a few years later. So this is BHABHA launching balloons. Whatever work Millikan had left, this is BHABHA launching this rubber balloons, having these payloads attached to these rubber balloons, and the person who is with them is A.S. Rao. A.S. Rao is the electronics man of India. He went on to be the first managing director of Electronics Corporation of India Limited after BHABHA. And this was a lab assistant who worked in BHABHA's lab at Bangalore. BHABHA took him away to Bombay when he created the Tata Institute of Fundamental this guy. So this is Bhabha with Raman during his sojourn in Bangalore. So these are kind of papers that Bhabha wrote. Okay. The first paper you can see, this is the one communicated when he visited Poli. This is written in German, and this is the paper which fetched him the next fellowship. So this is the paper. Second one, third one is a communicated by Bhabha when he was visiting Fermi. Okay, and this paper is jointly written with Hulm. This guy was senior to Bhabha. He had his PhD done in 1932. So what Bhabha started with another senior student from in the lab. This is what he completes when he is visiting Fermi, and he writes this paper, okay, which was communicated from Rome. So later on, now he is working for his thesis. So the Bhabha scattering is a part of Bhabha's thesis. And what is Bhabha scattering? It is the scattering of positrons by electrons with exchange on Dirac's theory of positrons. Okay. Scattering of positrons by electrons is exchange on Dirac's theory of positrons. Okay. So these two are the key papers which went into which got him the PhD. So by the time he writes his PhD, they were all mostly single author papers. Bhabha has no paper with his supervisor. With Fowler, he has no paper. Okay, either the papers are on his own or in partnership with whosoever he chooses to collaborate. Okay, and then there is this paper number 11. This is the Bhabha-Heitler theory of cosmic ray showers as a cascade process of repeated creation of electron-positron pairs from high energy photons. Okay. And this cosmic ray showers was being observed by everyone. It was in cosmic ray showers only the positron was discovered, and so on. Cosmic rays by the time Bhabha had started his work, neutron had already been discovered. Positron was there. Anderson had done it. Of course, it's the 1936 Nobel Prize which gets awarded to the discoverer of cosmic rays, Victor Hess and Anderson in 1936. So by 1936, Bhabha had these papers on Bhabha scattering, and by 1937, he had given this Bhabha-Heitler theory, which explains all this cosmic ray showers. Then this is a paper number 11. Okay, this is the Bhabha-Heitler theory. Then there is this number 12. Is this Bhabha's claim that the cosmic rays, what you observe, are not only electrons, but you actually are observing heavier electrons. The heavier electrons are later on are the muons, which have a mass of the order of 200 times the electron mass. So this, again, he says, it doesn't contain electrons. And this paper is 1938. So by that time, Yukawa's theory was there. By 1935, saying that the nuclear forces are radiated by pions, and pions is inside the nucleus, and pions is a strongly interacting particle, but the heavier electron is a weakly interacting particle. So what the connection is between these pions and mesons? So Bhabha is on that problem, and he solves this puzzle. Pions are different, strongly electric. Some people were calling pions as mesotrons. Bhabha said, no, this tron business is not correct. It is with things like electrons and so on. So it should be called mesons and not mesotrons. And mesons decay into muons, and he gives this way to calculate time dilation as mesons. Pions decay to muons, and when they decay, while they are in motion, then there is a time delay in place, and Bhabha had given this formula for it, and the time delay business is actually confirmed in experiment. So all this was done before Bhabha arrived. So he had 4 or 5 major results by the time he gets trapped in Bangalore. Okay. So there is the first one, as there is this Bhabha scattering, Bhabha-Heitler theory, and then heavier electrons, and then this thing that it is not proper to call this mesons. One should distinguish between mesons and pions and muons and life decay and so on. So this is a kind of a picture that he had, cascade shower schematics due to BHABHA. So cosmic rays actually have a soft component which is this, and then there is a hard component which has muons, and there is also a nuclear component. So there, all these three are there. To observe this nuclear component, you must go to the upper atmosphere to observe this. So you must fly balloons or do things later on in satellites. So this heavier component is weakly interacting muons, so they can travel deep down into the earth. So BHABHA had got all these underground experiments set up in the Kolar goldfield in 1950. So BHABHA was into probing all these things, soft component, hard component, and kaon discovery happens with nuclear emulsions. So nuclear emulsions have to be flown. Okay, and GM counters also one could fly, but these showers you can discover it also on the ground, and that is. So BHABHA had pushing these experiments. He is not an author on all these experiments that happened, which he commenced in Bangalore, but he is the motivator for all these studies as the time goes by. So this is the BHABHA scattering. This is cross section. This is MEVs. Okay, MEVs is because this is the experimental data, electron and positron from radioactive source. But BHABHA scattering formula, 5 decades later, is proved okay in colliding electron positron beams experiments done at CERN. Physics is all correct, whether it is MEVs or GEVs, same physics is there. BHABHA scattering formula is all great. So more papers of BHABHA, mesons and not mesotrons. Paper 18, no, once he is caught in Bangalore, he is all on his own. So his work becomes more mathematical, more theoretical, less phenomenology. So there is this classical theory of mesons. This is communicated by Dirac in 1939. Next one is a paper in Proceedings of Indian Academy of Sciences, communicated by Raman. This is transition from Cambridge to Bangalore. Okay, then in Bangalore he also starts from collaborating with other theorists. Okay, so this is a paper he wrote with mathematician Dr. Madhav Rao, number 25, the scattering of charged charged mesons. Okay, this is with Rao. Then there is this paper 28, which is the summary of lectures. He gave lectures in Bombay, he gave lectures in Bangalore, so I invited him in Calcutta, so he gave a series of lectures also at Calcutta. So all his lectures, Saha disseminated by publishing a summary of that in this journal, Science and Culture. So Saha was an admirer of BHABHA, and BHABHA had excellent relations with Saha. Whatever wrong picture which the rocket boys may give you, BHABHA was a friend of, Saha was a friend and admirer of BHABHA. Okay, then Saha also sent his D. Basu to work with BHABHA. Then BHABHA also has written papers with S.K. Chakravarti, and this is a famous paper which fills up all the gaps which are left in BHABHA Hitler theory. So this paper is a complete solution on the problem of absorption of low energy electrons, okay, by collision loss and the cascade production. Okay, so BHABHA, so this all steals BHABHA Hitler theory, whatever accurate comparisons you want to the experiment. All that is all done in Bangalore. More papers. Okay, so now Harish Chandra has arrived at the scene in 1943. Harish Chandra came with a huge reputation. He passed his MSc at Allahabad in Krishnan's department, and then these are the papers with Harish Chandra on the theory of point particles, on the fields and equations of motions of point particles. Okay, so it is here that Harish Chandra gets introduced to the group theory that BHABHA was already pursuing. Harish Chandra pushes it far greater level. Bhabha sent him to work with Dirac, but Satish Chandra was not satisfied with Dirac because he said, I don't have an intuitive feeling for physics. He was very mathematically inclined, so Dirac also let him go to Institute of Advanced Study, Princeton. Actually, Dirac himself had gone to Institute of Advanced Study, Princeton, and Satish Chandra tagged along with him. And after that, he was totally on his own, and he did do great work in mathematics. So, 41 is a paper which is relativistic wave equations for the elementary particles. This is a reviews of modern physics special volume on the occasion of 60th birthday of Niels Bohr. And Bhabha wrote this paper, relativistic wave equations for the elementary particles. He summarized all his work that he had done in Bangalore in the last 5 years. So, lo and behold, EIFR commenced on June 1, 1945, 19th of December, that EIFR has transferred to Bombay as a new institution for the Kenilworth built. So, Bhabha, last paper, okay, these are, once he is in Bombay, then he is still writing single author papers, theoretical papers. He is leading this experimental program on cosmic rays, but his science contributions, okay, stops by the time 1954 comes. After that, he is into leading India's atomic energy program, India's strategic program, and so on, so forth. He also had a paper with Alladi Ramakrishnan. And Alladi Ramakrishnan is the one who created Institute of Mathematical Science, Math Science. Today, this is also a DAE institution, and you know why, because the institution was set up by a collaborator of Bhabha at one time. So when did the thought of EIFR come in? That comes in August of 1943. He writes a letter to J.R.D. Tata, and he says, lack of proper conditions for work and intelligent financial support hampers the development of science at a pace which the talent in this country would warrant. So he wanted to create an institute where there would be adequate financial support and proper conditions for scientists to get nurtured. So this is 1 month later, he writes a paper, Allocation of Scientific Research to the University. This paper forms a part of the proceedings of a symposium which was held in Calcutta in September of 1943, in which scientists, teacher scientists from all over India had got together to worry about how science and technology be developed after the Second World War. So, agenda for development of India was actually discussed, put up in the form of a proceedings by the teacher scientists as early as 1944. So whatever has happened in the first 75 years of Indian independence is the agenda which these teacher scientists evolved in this 2-day meeting at Calcutta. So Bhabha had a small role in it, that he was assigned to worry about how the scientific research should be nurtured in the universities. So after this 43 meeting, now they have they have come up with a plan. But we are in part of the colonial India at that time, so it needs approval from the colonial government. So Saha came up with this brilliant idea of inviting A.V. Hill, who was an MP from Cambridge, and also the Secretary of the Royal Society, to come to India. So Bhatnagar invited A.V. Hill, and A.V. Hill came to India, spent 4 months traveling all across India, talked to the Indian scientists, and he endorsed the plans of the Indian scientists. A.V. Hill himself submitted a report titled Scientific Research in India to be done after the war to the colonial government. And government was a little slow in acting on it, colonial government. So A.V. Hill printed the summary of what his report in a 4-page Nature article in May of 1945, which once it became a public thing, and A.V. Hill has endorsed it. So when Nehru forms the national cabinet after the war in 1946, so that report is accepted to be implemented in toto in independent India. And this is what has followed in independent India for 45 years. So Bhabha had, he had submitted in August 43, okay, and money is needed for any new institute. And how much money can the Tatas give? So Bhabha had consulted his friend Choksi in the Wilson College in Bombay, and he sort of advised him that you can get money from CSR. CSR had been created in September of 1942 by Bhatnagar. So to assess what money can CSR can give to Bhabha's thought of creating a newer institute, Bhabha goes to give a talk in Delhi University where the CSR was located at that time, and his talk was presided over by Mutliar. Mutliar is the guy who had got the CSR going in India. So very strategic thought of Bhabha. So February of 44, Choksi gave him. Bhabha didn't know how much money to be paid to a scientist, how much to a technician. These nitty-gritty details he didn't know. He consults Choksi and he puts a modest requirement of 80,000 rupees to Tata. And that was very unrealistic and not the proper conditions and appropriate, intelligent financial support. He was very naive about it. That is why Venkataraman says, has that remark about Bhabha's. So anyway, proposal was sent on March of 44 to create a school of research in advanced branches of physics. So initially TIFR starts as a Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Physics. The first paper on behalf of TIFR is the one which Bhabha wrote in the Reviews of Modern Physics, which was brought in as a 60th birthday issue for Niels Bohr. So in that, it's Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Physics. TIFR, the paper was communicated before TIFR comes into being on 1st of June. Okay, by that time, Bhabha had been advised, no, you must have biophysics also included from A.B. Hill. A.B. Hill himself started his life as a mathematician, then drifted to physiology and went on to win the Nobel Prize in Physiology. He was also a great operations research man, etc., etc. So Bhabha, by the time things finally happen, okay, it is Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, and it has to include mathematics because he was advised, Dirac had advised mathematics bhi hona chahiye in a fundamental research institute. So anyway, so 80,000 rupees out of this 45 was to come from the trust, 25,000 from Government of Bombay, and only 10,000 from CSR. But very next year, all this is camouflaged because CSR releases 75,000 for TIFR. Because by that time, Bhabha wanted Chandrasekhar back in TIFR. Chandrasekhar was a contemporary of Bhabha at Cambridge. Chandrasekhar is born 1910, Bhabha is born 1909. So Chandrasekhar has to be got back. Chandrasekhar by that time had reached America, left Cambridge, gone to America and so on. So he was to be brought back from Chicago. So in order to, Saha also wanted Chandrasekhar to come back. A.V. Hill also wanted Chandrasekhar to come back, to go back to India. So in order to enable Chandrasekhar to come to India, a special grant was released by CSR. But ultimately it doesn't happen. Okay. Chandrasekhar said no in April of 46. 47, by that time, bomb had been dropped in Japan, and that is how the war ended. CSR had formed a committee, Atomic Research Committee, with Bhabha as a chairman in the CSR system by that time. Bhabha's CFR had to be supported for all research related to fundamental science, related to nuclear physics, in addition to the cosmic ray physics that Bhabha was pursuing, or the mathematics that was supposed to be pursuing. So India gets independent on 15th of August, 11 days after the Indian independence. Okay, Board for Research in Atomic Energy is created within the CSR. CSR also has started as a board for research for industrial research. It was the board for, it was BSIR, Board for Scientific and Industrial Research. Within CSR, they create a board for research in atomic energy 11 days after the invention. 6 months later, okay, this Atomic Energy Act of, Atomic Energy Act was passed on August 10, 1940. A year later, you have this Atomic Energy Act. Okay, but it is still, whole of atomic energy is still under CSR. Atomic energy gets separated from CSR and becomes a distinct entity only in 1954. Okay, so from 1947 to 1954, BHABHA is gathering people. All the talent that is available. Okay, he is gathering all of them, trying to bring them together and create viable groups for research in different branches of physics, mathematics, and so on. So this is the strategy that he follows. Get everybody together, and all this is happening on behalf of one financial entity, and that is TIFR, which receives money from CSR. So, and these Ramanna also joined in 49. So I have, you can go through these names later on. The PPT will be there with you. So this is BHABHA on the day of inauguration of TIFR in December 1945. Okay, this is in a small room of Kenilworth Bungalow. This is the governor of, this is the Saklatwala, the chairman of the Tata Trust, and this is the governor of Bombay. So this is BHABHA, this is PMS Blackett. Blackett got Nobel Prize 48 related to cosmic rays. Blackett had become an advisor to Nehru National Cabinet from 1946 on. So Blackett was an important man, okay, in the decision making of Nehru. Other person which was important was Bhatnagar. So this is BHABHA with Blackett and Bhatnagar. So, and this central, this is a guy, H.J. Taylor. H.J. Taylor was a cosmic ray physicist who had worked with Rutherford, and he was working in Wilson College, Bombay, when BHABHA arrived from Bangalore in Bombay to create TIFR. So BHABHA had inducted Taylor as an adjunct professor for TIFR. He wanted him to be a professor in TIFR, but this guy didn't want to leave Wilson College. This is very interesting history about the role of H.J. Taylor in promoting research and education in India. He not only worked in Bombay, but he worked at several other places, including in Bengal and Assam. So he used to induct young students and interview young students for induction in TIFR. So people like Devendra Lal, Yashpal, G. Venkatraman, they were all inducted. So these are, inductions for TA for first 6 years. You can see all these names. Brahm Prakash, Irigantam. Okay, Brahm Prakash is the nuclear fuels man of India. He was a very close associate of BHABHA. He was born 1912, only a few years younger than BHABHA. So he is the person who made BHABHA realize his dream on having self-reliance in terms of nuclear fuels in India. So, Kundan Singh Singhvi. So, Oppenheimer recommended Bernard Peters to BHABHA. Peters had come to India to do cosmic research in Chennai in 1950s, and so BHABHA got Peters also to be a part of TIFR. C.K. Iyengar, NMR man of India, Dharmati, all these were inducted by BHABHA. So these are just to convince you that everything is authentic. This is just flashing through bulletin board of TIFR archives, which was set up during the BHABHA centenary period. So this is all this. I just extracted all this information from this. bulletin boards of TIFR. Okay. So even accelerator business. Okay, this again CSR supported the high energy accelerator domain of atomic energy. Okay. Again, money came. CSR has got nothing to do with high energy physics, but BHABHA wanted this thing. Bhatnagar wants to support all these things, so this is how it came via. So whatever BHABHA needed for TIFR, Bhatnagar was there to get him from one side. So this again, TIFR moved from Old Yard, from Kenilworth Bungalow to Old Yard Club, which is just next to Gateway of India, right across the Taj Mahal Hotel in Bombay. This is where the atomic energy operates even today. So TIFR is called National Center of Government of India for Nuclear Science and Mathematics. This again is a thought which is Bhatnagar planted it for BHABHA. He said Bhatnagar was a member of the Atomic Energy Commission. The commission noted that it had recognized TIFR as the only laboratory of the commission for fundamental research in atomic science. In view of this, the commission would not set up another laboratory of its own on fundamental research in atomic science. Okay, so all this, you can appreciate how all that happened. So BHABHA also acknowledges all this. BHABHA said on the day of inauguration on the day of laying the foundation stone of Colaba building, January 154, he says Bhatnagar helped him to secure the site, which is in Navy Nagar defense area. Bhatnagar could help him because the early 1950s, Sardar Baldev Singh was India's defense minister, who was from Lahore. Bhatnagar was a big professor at Lahore. Bhatnagar arm-twisted Baldev Singh and got BHABHA whatever he wanted in the defense area of Bombay. So all this is recorded. Okay, sir. BHABHA also, the contractors who build NPL New Delhi or the NCL Pune, they are same contractors built TIFR. Architect was someone else, but the contractors are the same people. Mod lab of BRC is also built by Master Sathe and Nita. So this is model of TIFR, Nehru, this is Bhatnagar, BHABHA, this is Morarji Desai, this is MC Chagla. So this is TIFR's model, and this is the TIFR building on the day of its inauguration on January 15. This is the TIFR building 50 years later. Building is still okay. Of course, there is a little bit of deposition on that stone, but building is still fine. Okay, this is Niels Bohr visiting. Niels Bohr, he had visited in 1933 Copenhagen conference. So this is Niels Bohr being introduced to G.R.D. Tata, and BHABHA's younger brother J.J. BHABHA is also there. So, okay, fine. Let's move fast. So, atomic energy establishment, Trombay. TIFR building foundation stone is laid. 2 days later, atomic energy establishment, Trombay is inaugurated. Okay. 2 in 1. Nehru comes to Bombay, stays for 2 days, then both are. Okay, then few months later, atomic energy separates out from CSR, and now atomic energy is receiving money on its own. It's a department under the Prime Minister. Now BHABHA can plan big. By that time, Bhatnagar also has moved on. Bhatnagar became the chairman of UGC in November of 1953. So he cannot help BHABHA anymore. So Bhatnagar is now on his own. As soon as the Department of Atomic Energy is created, BHABHA wants to have first reactor going. Because nuclear energy is the promise. So without reactors, how can you have nuclear energy? So you have to have some demonstration that the public, the financial pundits in Delhi should release the money. So some demonstration of capability. Okay, work on Apsara reactor, swimming pool type reactor. Build the reactor, build everything here, but get the fuel from England, from via his friend. So Cockcroft obliges him. Fuel uranium-235 comes from there. So in 1.5 years, the Apsara reactor becomes critical. Once the Apsara reactor becomes critical, so now BHABHA gives this big plan how to expand atomic energy program, how to have this training school for inducting 100 to 200 engineers and scientists for the Department of Atomic Energy who will be supported throughout their life and who will work for the long-term vision of BHABHA to have a three-stage nuclear energy. So this is how this process is commenced. In the meanwhile, BHABHA is also gathering this international reputation. United, Cold War has started. United Nations gives this call to have a conference on peaceful uses of atomic energy. First Geneva conference is to happen in August of 1955, and BHABHA is the president of the first conference on peaceful uses of atomic energy. So fine. So this happened in 1955. In 1955, on the sidelines of this conference, BHABHA meets his friend Lewis, who was earlier at Cambridge, who had built this natural uranium heavy water thermal reactors for Canadians. BHABHA ties up with him, and this thought of Canada-India reactor comes. The Canada-India reactor was to be built in Bombay, and for which half the fuel was to come from Canada and other half was to be done in India. But BHABHA had already inducted Brahm Prakash as a metallurgist for TIFR, put him in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, to start a metallurgy department of Indian Institute of Science. So this guy was training this metallurgist in Bangalore. Comes this CIR plan. This Brahm Prakash is brought from Bangalore to Bombay, and he, lo and behold, in a period of 3 years, some trouble with the Canadians, but India had the fuel ready. Courtesy Brahm Prakash. And Brahm Prakash was also his comrade in arms. Then he conducted this conference at Geneva, Peaceful Uses of Nuclear Energy. And Brahm Prakash was one close associate of BHABHA. The other close associate of BHABHA in making these reactors was an engineer called N.B. Prasad, who was the project director for this Apsara reactor as well as for the Canada-India reactor. So this Prasad is the guy who, after BHABHA's death, was inducted by Indira Gandhi. He had left atomic energy after BHABHA passed away. So he is the ONGC man of India. The founder of ONGC in India is N.B. Prasad, who was again a person whom BHABHA had inducted and inspired to work for self-reliance. So, fine, okay. So three stages. You start with a thermal reactor, then you need a plutonium has to be separated out, then you need a plutonium breeder reactor. From plutonium breeder reactor, you have to go and have a thorium breeder reactor. So you need some chemical engineers who can be relied to do all. So that is the job given to H.N. Setna. So Setna is in charge of plutonium plant, working on that three-stage nuclear program. Brahm Prakash is the guy who is producing this nuclear fuel and other refractory elements, and N.B. Prasad is doing other jobs. So this is how everybody is working on this key principle of self-reliance in the strategic area. So, training school I have already told you. This thorium business also I have told you. So this is very famous statement of BHABHA. It says in 55, it says, uranium and thorium might provide energy resources adequate for at least next millennium. This is what he has stated in 1955. Okay, and he says, I venture to predict that a method would be found for liberating cheap fusion energy in the controlled manner in the next 2 decades. This hasn't come out true, but the work is on. ITER, international collaboration, is a pursuit of that thought. Maybe instead of 2 decades, it will take 100 years, but it will happen. So this is BHABHA showing off the Apsara reactor to the Chinese scientists. At that time, we didn't know. We couldn't foresee that. He is enhancing the confidence of these Chinese in taming the nuclear energy. And lo and behold, 6-7 years later, in October of 1964, Chinese exploded their first bomb. 16th of October 1964. So this is That's Bhabha's long-term vision of fast breeder reactor. Okay, so this is Brahm Prakash for you. Bhabha, Nehru, Brahm Prakash. This is Bhabha, Brahm Prakash, Shastri. And in the same Brahm Prakash who is there, who are the people with him? This is Satish Dhawan, U.R. Rao and Kalam. So, Brahm Prakash, after retiring from atomic energy, not retiring, once Bhabha passed away 66, Sarabhai came in, Sarabhai passed away 1971, and Brahm Prakash is dispatched to Sumba to manage all the things that Sarabhai had started. So the Brahm Prakash is the guy who integrated everything. So this Kalam had been inducted into TIFR into a space program in 1964 at TIFR. So Kalam was mentored and given all the confidence by none other than Brahm Prakash. So he recalls in his biography the three mentors, Sarabhai, Brahm Prakash and Satish Dhawan. And in this teamwork, mission-oriented work is what had started in atomic energy. They wanted to build Apsara, and they wanted to build Cyrus and so on. And Brahm Prakash is the man who is involved in it. So Brahm Prakash teams up with Satish Dhawan. And he could easily team up with Satish Dhawan. Because Brahm Prakash and Satish Dhawan were students at Lahore together. They went on Government of India Overseas Scholarship Scheme, which was created by A.B. Hill's recommendation. They had gone to America together. They were in Bangalore on return from America together. So it is this Lahore partnership between Brahm Prakash and Satish Dhawan, which gives Space Department with the spirit of working together for a mission. So, okay, Bhabha is also a person who got the electronics program of India going. After India's debacle against the Chinese in 62 war, Bhabha recognized that electronics plays a big role in defense research. So he got a committee for the electronics research created in India. Okay, and of course the report was submitted after Bhabha's death, but A.S. Rao was already there. A.S. Rao is the managing director of IISER. Then the space program. The space program, 57 October something, Sputnik goes up. 58, there is a proposal on behalf of the United Nations to have a peaceful uses of space research. Okay, so a conference is held in Paris, which is attended by Sarabhai, and Sarabhai talks to Bhabha, and now this process starts. So United Nations had created a committee called COSPAR, Committee for Space Research. Bhabha starts in COSPAR, Indian National Committee for Space Research. So that is the start of Indian National Committee for Space Research, and this happens, okay, in February 1962. TIFR new buildings are inaugurated on 15th of January 1962. Within a month, the space program is also rolled out from the TIFR building as an in-course part. Sarabhai is the chair of the committee, exactly like Bhatnagar had made Bhabha the chair of the committee for atomic research. Bhabha follows that gesture, gets Sarabhai into the atomic energy, makes him co-opted member of the atomic energy, and agrees to fund physical research laboratory by the atomic energy. Till then, ERL didn't have good finances. They had to depend on Sarabhai Trust or to CSIR for its survival, but Bhabha brings them back into the space research. Okay. So this is Bhabha's comments for this electronics. He says it is essential that electronics industry should be planned and organized from the very beginning in such a way so as to build into the capacity to keep abreast progress in the rest of the world without continuing dependence on the foreign nations. So these are the kind of thoughts which he articulated in 1963. Somehow we lost the plot somewhere, and now we are saying semiconductor research, this research, that research. But we are far ahead of others in starting the whole. So it was addressed in the Space Symposium, which is held in 63. Okay, he says, The reason for going into space research is that there are many areas in which it is likely to yield results of great practical importance in the near future, and we would again be falling behind the advanced countries in practical technology. 1963, Tata Memorial Center also under TAE, because cancer research was being looked after by the US Department of Energy. Long story, but this Cockcroft, John Lawrence, was the brother of E.O. Lawrence of the Lawrence Radiation Laboratory. So this guy was looking after the cancer research program in America. He visits BHABHA. BHABHA decides cancer is a thing which only atomic energy can look after because radiation is involved. So he takes over the Tata Memorial Center. And today, PMC has 300 associates and it is the largest global network. This is vision and the visionary. Support to radio astronomy and molecular biology is well known. Let me just skip this. Okay, so now this BHABHA gives India's first science policy resolution 1958. We have this. After that, there is a thing in 83, then it is 2003, then 2013. Now we have skipped 2020. Science, technology, innovation policy articulated by the But start of it is the science policy resolution of 1958, and these are the Government of India directives. What all we must do. Okay, BHABHA received many honors, long list of honors. Okay, and of course he was nominated for Nobel Prize 5 times by a mathematician, not by the physicist. French mathematician nominated him 5 times, but the competition was very stiff. 48 prize had just gone to Blackhead, 50 went to Powell, and BHABHA is nominated, in 51, 53. The wrong time. But after that, he didn't live very long, and he had stopped doing fundamental science. Once Bethe got, with whom he was competing, got the prize in 1967. Feynman got it also much later. So I have given this list of people. Feynman got it, Springer 67, Bethe 77, Mott 1983. Chandrasekhar himself, gets in much later, 83. Anderson 77. So BHABHA also nominated people, but his nominations were good. He nominated Cockcroft, got it in 51. Felix Bloch got it in first attempt 52. Lamb got the prize in 55. Okay, so BHABHA is concerned, very concerned about human aspects of the difficulties that the young students in India face. Everybody is not born into well-off families like BHABHA. So he was very conscious of it. So when Harish Chandra arrived to work with him, there was no place for him to stay in Bangalore. So he arranged to the librarian of IISc Bangalore, Kale, to stay in his house. Who used to stay in, librarian used to stay on the campus of IISc. So they arranged BHABHA's arrangement. Later on, Harish Chandra went on to marry the daughter of V.T. Kale. That is 15 years down the line, but this is how it happened. Vasudevacharya was a lab assistant. BHABHA had brought him to Bombay. He had no place to stay. He got married. So BHABHA got him the outhouse of Kenilworth. Gave him that. Okay, you stay there. Murthy. There was a glass blower whom BHABHA brought from Bangalore. He developed some heart problem. BHABHA arranged for him to have the heart surgery done in US. Not only have heart surgery done in India, also arranged donors for him. Devendra Lal as a student had a problem. BHABHA, without his knowing him, arranges a surgeon to operate on. And this is what V.C. Sani wrote in 2009. He says, BHABHA used his position and international contacts not for self, but as tools for the growth of the people working with him. His exceptional vision and their intellect were not hurdles in the path of the subordinate, but were energies that helped people to propel faster, which otherwise might have been lower speed. So he enabled people, he motivated people, enabled people so that they remain on target. So this is the extensive air showers. Its present state of affairs at Ooty. If you have go to Ooty in both in Raj Bhavan, Botanical Garden, there is this detectors. There are all these detectors are near the radio astronomy center. I have already taken. So these are cartoons on Bhava, 1950 for peaceful uses of atomic energy. This is R.K. Lakshman on Bhava. This is after the Chinese tested their nuclear bomb, and Bhava gave a speech that India can make a bomb in atomic device in 18 months if the Shastri gives them the go ahead. Anyway, he didn't live long before that. So this is a summary, the kind of just a copy of abstract that the Ganguly had circulated to you. And Raman had once described Bhava as the modern equivalent of Leonardo da Vinci. And on the occasion of Bhaba's birth centenary, TNR had advocated the award of Bharat Ratna posthumously. TNR had not got the Bharat Ratna. He advocated that Bhava should be given Bharat Ratna posthumously. I don't know whether. So do you remember this statement of TNR at the inauguration of Bhava? This hasn't happened. And Bhava, it doesn't worry Bhava. So, thank you all for your patience. Books are here for you to see. Must have got tired. I just took too long. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. So Vibha Chaudhary is a. See, Vibha Chaudhary started her work with D.M. Bose. So there is a beautiful article by N.K. Mondal where this Vibha Chaudhary story is given in reality. Of course, there have been books, biographies on Vibha Chaudhary. Physics News also brought up a book on Vibha Chaudhary. A visitor came to Calcutta and he made D.M. Bose aware of nuclear emulsions being used to capture events which are triggered by primary cosmic rays. So this is a job done by a Viennese women scientist. So D.M. Bose wanted this to happen. Vibha Chaudhary was testing D.M. Bose, who was a relative of his, to let her work with him when he moved to Bose Institute as the director of the Bose Institute after the death of J.C. Bose. So D.M. Bose assigned Vibha Chaudhary to go to Darjeeling and expose this emulsion stack at the Darjeeling altitude and also at higher altitude, one within India and other in Ladakh. So Vibha Chaudhary went and set up these stacks for exposure to the cosmic rays at higher altitude, because at the ground level the intensity of primary cosmic rays reduces and this nuclear disintegration event do not get captured at ground. So she took all alone on horsebacks going to those heights, put these stacks to get exposure for 6 months to a year. She used to go collect those, come and analyze in the Bose Institute in Calcutta. And she did come out with a strategy how to measure energies of particles which get captured in the nuclear environment when this nuclear disintegration happens. So in that she discovered particles with mass of the order of 200 the mass of the electron. So she had actually observed the pion tracks in the emulsions. She published 4 papers in this. It was war years, and the emulsions that she was using, they were not accurate enough. So when the war ends, the C.F. Powell had seen Vibha Chaudhary's work. He gets the Ilford company to produce emulsions which are there on both sides of the glass. And with improved emulsions, he repeats Vibha Chaudhary's work, improves these emulsion detectors, and confirms Vibha Chaudhary's this thing, and finds the mass accurately. By that time, this was settled that pions are different and the mesons are different, and Powell gets the 1950 Nobel Prize. He does not acknowledge Vibha Chaudhary at all in that. Vibha Chaudhary, in the meanwhile, at the end of the war, she had not registered. She never submitted a PhD thesis to Calcutta University. She goes to England to work in Blackett's lab at Manchester and works on cloud chamber. D.M. Bose was also working on cloud chamber in Calcutta. Because D.M. Bose was a part of C.T.R. Wilson's team during the First World War when the cloud chamber was discovered. D.M. Bose had improved those cloud chamber not only in Calcutta but also had built better cloud chamber for the Germans in Berlin. But D.M. Bose had not involved Vibha Chaudhary in this cloud chamber. His cloud chamber man was someone else, whom BHABHA imported later on to Bangalore. So Vibha Chaudhary goes to England and works with Blackett's lab and works on cloud chamber. When he finishes PhD, she applies to TIFR and BHABHA inducts him at TIFR as the first woman scientist. BHABHA already has an active cloud chamber program. So BHABHA does not make Vibha Chaudhary as a part of that program. He allows Vibha Chaudhary to do whatever she wants on her own. So Vibha Chaudhary, who had worked at cloud with emulsions and also at cloud chamber, BHABHA gave him a choice, you do what you want. And she set up an independent program on cloud chamber. And she was not making much headway. So after the end of 4 years stay in TIFR, she decides and tells BHABHA that she wants to go to Bangalore. She wants to go to Bengal and work in a college. So she returns to this engineering college and starts to work on a CSR project. Things don't go well. After a few years, she leaves that place and goes back to America. This time she goes and works also with Bruno Rossi, who gets the Nobel Prize later. So a few years down the line, Vibha Chaudhary decides to return to India, and this time she applies to Sarabhai. By that time, PRL has become a part of atomic energy, and Sarabhai gets him to work for PRL at Kodaikanal. So she is now a part of PRL and a part of the space program of what Sarabhai was doing in costing. So then BHABHA dies 66, Sarabhai passes away in 71. Vibha Chaudhary remains in PRL, and somehow all the great work that she had done in Calcutta, original work that she had done in Calcutta, she doesn't get rewarded for that. So even that Austrian woman physicist, Blau, from whom D.M. Bose had got this idea, she also was recognized. She was a Jew, she was turned out from Europe. 30 years down the line of the Science Academy. She retired from PRL, didn't get promoted, she remained a fellow in PRL, goes back, worked till she passed away at the High Institute of Physics. She was very active as a researcher, but now she was a superannuated scientist doing research in his own way at SIM. And she would have remained forgotten, nobody would have bothered if Suprakash Roy and Rajinder Singh had not written a biography of Vibha Chaudhary. Okay.
So let's again thank Professor Grover for such a beautiful talk. Yeah. And thank you all for attending. Thank you. We'll end the session.